All right, hi guys. My name Paul. Right now, I'm broadcasting from Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City right now. And this video is about how to set up a first trade float for people with less than $5,000 in cash within 2 months, so that you could start to get into the world of physical commodity trading, so that you could at least build your business in this industry and start with some track record so that you could do bigger deal in the future, and also having an idea of how everything works, how the logistics work with a minimum amount of risk. So for any of you who just came to the channel, my name is Paul. Welcome to Physical Trader. Our team focusing on talking about doing physical commodity trading for next 10, 20, 30 years so that you could build your sustainable business where you could chase your dream, could protect your family, could protect your people. All right. We're not here to just talk about short-term thinking, short-term profit. Why put the word 2 months in there? 2 months is enough for me to set up any trade flow with the method that I'm about to share to you. And this is the picture of me and also the video that you could see me standing in front of the container of my product. I am serving and supplying commodity charcoal to the second biggest and the biggest charcoal importer in Taiwan from the method that I'm using in order to acquire them as a client. All right. So using this method with a bigger amount of money actually, but I using the same method in order to get these clients so you could copy and do the same things. Our team right now specializes on fresh produce and charcoal, and you could check out many more of my video to see actually in the business. I know what I'm doing. I'm being here in this business for around nearly 3 years, which is not a big amount of time. It's not a long amount of time, but I learned a lot from it. There's a lot of people know a lot more than me, but this is my framework of how I acquire the biggest, second biggest charcoal importer. Also now I selling banana to Iraq. I selling fresh produce to China, fresh produce to Cambodia, and I know what I'm doing, right? So let's getting started to this magic method that you could use and apply in your life on how could you get the first commodity deal rolling. First of all, what product? And when you start with a small budget like 5,000 US dollars, you have less than that, maybe the amount of risk and the product that you could choose is not as much as the people with more budget. But there's still plenty of product out there that could having the low value so that you could easily self finance the whole load of that product to purchase it from one country to send to your country or being an exporter to another importer destinations. All right. So what characteristic are you looking for into this specific product? So it's need to have a simple characteristic, which means that the product don't have a short shelf life. It's not going to rotten anytime soon when you pack it on the container. I make my first mistake in physical commodity trading when I started to trade jackfruit. All right, it's a big fruit in Asia. For each fruit is around like 20 pounds, and it's extremely huge. It tastes good, it smells good to my nose. All right, some Westerner cannot handle the smell of jackfruit, but jackfruit having the shelf life of only 10 days, which means if we deliver get stuck at the customer cannot receiving the product or any problems occurred within 10 days, the product gonna rotten and you couldn't use it, you couldn't sell it, you're gonna lose money. So it's not smart to start with something like jackfruit, right? So avoid that at any cost. Even though if it could have having a low cost to start it, avoid it right at the beginning. You want to choose market with people a little bit more laid back because they know they could list the product over there for years and not gonna get rotten. So that the first component of a sustainable business where you could not passing a time bomb around from one person to another, from another person to another person. You don't want to be in that game of passing time bomb and worry gonna explode in your hand and then you're losing your finger. All right. And talking about simpleness, the product need to have super simple grade. It's not going to be like 7% of purity, 5% purity. You don't want to deal with something like that. You want to deal with a product that's so simple that only have one or two grade A, grade B, and start it with something like that's going to give you more advantage on having the price update more accurate, and also the client gonna be more easy. You're gonna be more easy to be approaching a client because you know that there's only that much option on market. So if he import the specific product or he purchasing this specific product, then it have to be in one of those two great, one of those two quality. All right. So it's gonna be give you an advantage on saving times, money, and effort on chasing uncertainty. You don't want to deal with a product that have so many components, like a polo shirt. No, they have thousands of different components. The bottom is need to be as specific plastic or the 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 garment. The silk that you're gonna use for, man, it's plenty of things that you need to care if you want to sell a product that's so complex, like shirt, right? So you don't want to deal with that. Also, a product that's so complex and have the big price, gonna have a high price, big value. So you don't want to deal with something like that at the beginning because you want to do it fast so that you could learn experience and then you could using that experience to leverage and do bigger deal in the future. So remove all the complex product, remove all the product with a low shelf life, remove all that, and also remove all the high value product, and remove also the high barrier product because, for example, you don't want to deal with product where it's requiring a permit of $10,000, $20,000 to get that permit because you have no money at the beginning. So deal with product with no permit to do at all. And usually, the cheaper products is gonna be raw material, or you're gonna dealing with waste product. For example, paper waste, rubber waste, metal waste, whatever waste. All right, or some product that's so cheap like veneer seed. There's a wood chunk of wood. People peels it to very 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 thin uh, piece of wood. All right, they make it into a seed and then they sell it in order to make furniture. The cost to purchase and load it, the whole container of that product is only around 3-4 thousand US dollars. It's that cheap. All right, and not we're not talking about some magic number over there. There are a lot of products that you could load the whole container with less than $5,000. Even wood pellet, right? The thing that people use to burn and get energy from and generate electric. That market to me is afford because they just using that to get money from the government. But I'm not gonna dig into that specific topic. But you get an idea. There are a lot of products that have the value less than $5,000 for loading the whole container. So from that, the risk that you're dealing with losing that amount of money is minimized. All right. So I talking about this $5,000. Think about it as the $5,000 that you're willing to lose it all. So if you make the biggest mistake in this planet for that product, you lose that money, and it's not too painful that you cannot recover from that. It really depends on your country also. Maybe you come from a country that have a low GDP, low wages. It's going to be a huge amount of money. But majority of the country and majority of the people on this planet could accumulate the 5,000 US dollars to start with some product like that. All right. So move on to the 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 location of the product. All right. The product need to be consumed ideally within your region. For example, if you're in Africa, it needs to be having buyers and customers in Africa. If you are in the Middle East, then that product ideally needs to have buyer in the Middle East so that you could easily import export the product within the span of 10 days so that you could receiving the product without to dealing with the risk of the product on the sea so many times, so long delayed, and many more problems could occur on the process of shipping it. All right, it's going to reduce your mental stress and also get you into a trade flow much faster. All right, so that the ideal product that you need to looking for. All right, these characteristic is what you need to looking for in order to start your first container with low amount of risk. So if you have bigger budget, then using that budget to looking for the same product. Maybe you have the budget of $10,000 to lose $100,000. You could uh, make it a little bit loose. You could ship it to far market because you have more risk to tolerance. You could start with the product with low value too, to learn from it. There's many things that you could do with a bigger budget, but if you have $5,000, this is where to go. All right. So after that, the most important thing is that find a legit buyers because doesn't matter what you say. All right. Doesn't matter how good of the product knowledge you have, you need a buyer to make the transaction happen. And the world run by the buyer and the seller. There's the demand and supply. So you have one piece of the puzzle already. You need to get that demand. All right. Sometimes it's not really that hard to find legit buyers, but it's going to take time, money, and effort for you to become a person where they want to purchase from you. All right, just let's talk about this method first. So you could use a custom data. What is custom data? There's a lot of websites on the internet. They have providing the data of which are the importer or exporter of a specific product in your country, in your region, in your area, so that you could have an idea of they are a real buyer. They are knowing what they're doing. They have purchased that product already, and they needed that product every single month, every single year. They import millions of dollars of that product, so you have an idea of they are a real buyer. Or maybe you could verify them after that. You could see that they are being in the business for thousands of years, so it's safe to deal with them. So if they're not directly importer, they're not direct importer. They could be having a physical locations or they purchase from the other importer. All right, they have physical locations just like they have a warehouse, they have manufacturer, they having a factory, to processing this product. They have a store to resell this product. Whatever, they have some physical appearance, and they could consume a minimum of the whole container of that product. So why is it important? Because if you're just focusing on finding the legit buyer using these two methods, you're gonna reduce your risk of being scammed. Because if you're selling to, let's say, a trade company, all right, you export to a trade company and you take a massive risk, then there's a risk of you could losing money because they don't have the facility to input into this business. They're not taking a massive risk to having a physical locations or there's many risks could come with it because they are not putting themselves at a big risk for physical locations. So you could reduce the risk by just go and visit them in person by physical location. You could go on Google and searching for some website of these people, or after you having these information of the custom data, the physical locations, you having their website on the internet, you find these buyer, the person who are in the business. Next thing is that you could use something I call the budget trade finance. What do I mean by that? So there's something called the trade credit insurance. This company is providing a guarantee they're gonna pay you in the event of your buyer default, which means that they couldn't pay you. All right, so this trade credit insurance company is don't so if they are willing to give a credit line to some specific buyer, then that buyer be trustworthy enough for you to deal with, for you to do business with. So if but the minimum amount that you could start it with this trade credit insurance company usually is going to cost you around $10,000. And I know a lot of you don't have it, so you could leverage their system in order to make your decisions and make better decisions and reduce your risk by asking, hey, I got this ABCD buyer. Uh, I potentially gonna sell product to them with this term of payment. Could you help me to check how much you could provide a credit line to this buyer that I found on this specific, that I'm gonna deal with in the future? Might be gonna purchase the trade credit insurance from you. Could you provide me an idea of how much credit line could you give to this buyer? And they're gonna give you an idea. Maybe it's $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, $1 million, and from that you could get it going. All right, you could using that information to leverage to increase the the advantage so that you can make decisions much easier and reduce your risk of dealing with bad buyer at the beginning, because remember you don't have a lot of shot to go, so you need to work extra hard in order to verify this buyer and get it rolling. All right, so after you find this buyer using the method, maybe you go to their physical location, you're using custom data, you're using the Google, to search them and then verify them with the tracker insurance company. You need to understand that if they are legit buyer, they scare and they worry about being scammed. Also, they scare about the quality that you give them. Also, they worry about prices. Also, they worry that they purchase at higher price than other people. They worry that this is the first time they work with you. Why should they do it? They have a supplier for years, 10, 20, 30 years already in their life. Why would they consider to switch to a new, totally new supplier that they don't know nothing about? All right. So in order for them to make a decision, you need to reduce the majority of these risks so that you could push it forward faster. All right. So these are the first reductions. You need to build something I call the trust element. So if you could go to a sourcing area, a product that you wanted to selling to learn about the product, you could also standing there taking picture of the warehouse, taking picture of you stand next to a container that are loading with a worker prepare the product, and also explain about the product yourself, shooting 30, 40 videos and put it on all the social media that your country are using, on the market that your client are in using. From that, you could leverage these videos in order to build more trust with them so that they know you are actually in the business. All right. So after you collecting these trust element, it's time to go and visit the factory. Go and shake their hand and started to pull out your best pitch so that you could rolling. So when you go to the facility, the simple thing that I would like to do might be you could just go there randomly, click on the doorbell, and then waiting for them to walk out and talk to you, or you can just give them a heads up of you're gonna swing by their factory, you're gonna swing by their facility, you're gonna go visit them on this day, and then just go. All right, just inform them that and just go. Don't care about the answers, just go. Go there, and then started to meeting the person who making decisions, um, and you could just introduce yourself real quick. Hi, my name is Paul. I am in the wood pellet trade business, and you can see this is me. I am in the business of this. I purchased from here, and then you can see all the product. You can see me on social media. I explain about this product. Because the reason why I'm here, because I know that me myself could do something better than all the supplier. Doesn't matter is it on the pricings, on logistic, on quality, on quantity. I know that I could do better than other people, and I'm serious about it. That's the reason why I wanted to see a product, to feel it by my hand, and to see is that possible for me to do anything better because I know my capacity. So, would it be something that offends you? Would it be something that totally not good for me to having here to see a product? Guys, if you're in the all language, just switch it to the all language for the same thing, all right? So is that a bad idea for me to be here to see a product, to touch it, to feel it, to see what I could do better? Because I know from my heart, from the bottom of my heart, that I could do something better. And they're gonna say yes. Let me show you a route. You go with them, you touch a product, you see, you asking question. All right, I can see the color of the product. I can see the sizing of it. I have a question for you, Mr. Owner. What is the more important thing that you want is to be consistent for this product so that you could sell more? Oh, I want it to be having this quality. I want it to be remain this logistics times. I want it to have this quantity. I want to having this specific problem solved so that I could run my business more sustainable. So whatever problem they are sharing, all right, I want the product to remain the same at this quality. Whatever you're gonna repeat it afterward. You keep asking about these questions. You keep asking about these questions, and make sure that you understand what important to them about this specific product. And then after that, you reconfirm and repeat all the key points, all the needs that they're having. Mr. Owners, as I walk with you to this factory, I'm really thankful that you're sharing all this useful information for me to understand more about what you need. Let me repeat it to make sure that I understand clear. So you need a product to have this specific quality, specific color, specific packaging, and you want it to be consistent. And the reason why is you need that because it's gonna help you to sell it faster and also grow your business easier. Am I correct? He say, yes, that's correct. All right. So here what I could do. I could do this product at this price, and I could keep my promise of deliver exactly what you want. But we save you 1%, 2%. It's gonna add up in the future. We're surely about it. So I have a question for you. Would it be a bad idea? Let's say that would it be a bad idea if I could deliver at a lower price, at the same quality that you wanted, and keep it consistent so that you could grow your business. And at the end of the year, this 1 or 2% going to add up a lot, and then you could having a bigger business, much bigger business. Would that be a bad idea to give it a shot to start this business relationship? Would it be a bad idea for us to at least try? All right, because I know our capacity to make your business much better. And they're gonna say that that's so great. Maybe or they throwing some objection. They could say that's so great, that's so reasonable. But the thing is, uh, there's the other supplier that I'm currently working with now. They do the job totally fine, and you could repeat. But what if they could save you just a couple 1 or 2%? You handle the objections. You need to have in this skill in yourself. You ask them, if I could save you 1 2% in the span of like years and hundred of containers in the future, would that be massive? They're gonna say yes. All right, it's gonna be massive. So after they answer that, so I don't see any reason for you to not try it out. Oh, you agree with me? And they could say yes, no, maybe. They could say something. So let's say that I still having this concern. I don't know about you. I worry that I transfer you the money and you just go and run away. And I'm losing my business money. I don't want to deal with that. Then you could say that I understand and I hear you totally clear of your concern about this could potentially the risk of me going scamming you. And I would say that the risk is there. And I have to be honest with you. So how about this? We're gonna reduce the risk to the super minimal amount of risk. Let's say that all the supplier might be to require you for 30% of the down payment usually, right? How about this? I only take you just 5%, just 10% for the first transactions, so that you could reduce the risk totally. Look, that amount of money is not even enough for me to go and having some good food or whatever. It's not worth it for me to fly over there to go and see you, to driving and go to the factory for months and months. It's not worth it for me to waste all that time, money, effort to get that minimal amount of money. So would it be would it be a bad idea if we reduce the risk that much and then started to get into that and save you many more amount of money in the future? They're gonna say makes sense, and then if they say makes sense, then you could ask him, all right, so you would love to get it started by bank transfers or by check? If we started right now, in around 20 days, we're gonna be able to prepare the product, finish, and then deliver to you to your warehouse so that you could open it, you could see it, you could see the quality of it before we could do anything bigger, right? So I would love to be totally honest with you. I would love to get this rolling. So would you like to pay by bank transfer, or would you like to pay by check? Just really depend on your market, depend on your product. And if they agree with that, you say, cool, great. We're gonna see our product over there in around 20 days. And pleasure to do business with you. Hopefully that we could do this long-term business together. And if you fail, what to do? You repeat it. Go to another supplier, go to another distributor in your country of that specific product or manufacturer to repeat the conversations. You're gonna learn more while you do so, all right? It's not gonna be a bad idea, right? Yes? All right. So that's what we do. How about we deliver you the container in next 20 days because we know that you're gonna need the product anyway in that specific time frame, and we just asking for one container, not much. Then you're gonna become clients for life because I know what we can do. We could save you costs. We could do this better. We could do that better. Right? Is that a bad idea? No. Lock a deal. Get the bank transfers for 10% something for low amount of money. Really depend on your ability to sell. But you sell, but don't lie. All right. If that buyer said, "Have you ever export or import or doing this product before?" What is your answer? You say, "No, I haven't done that before." And I want to be totally transparent and honest with you. But the manufacturer that I'm working with has been export this product for months and years already, thousands of containers already. I totally confident about what we can do. So if you worry about the quality, I gotta bring a sample of the product to you and make sure it match exactly what you want before we do this shipment. Does that make sense? Is that valuable for you? Does that solve your problems? Yes, and you going on and get rolling. All right, so we to get through five verified buyer, build trust element, and then in that you need to take massive risk because you need to deliver to this client before they pay you fully any amount of money. Right? You need to show the product at their warehouse and let them make the decision to pay you or not. So it's not comfortable for sure to lose that amount of money, but the percentage, the probability of you losing that amount of money is extremely low if you're dealing with trustworthy buyer. So I hope you're getting there. You're getting what I'm saying. All right. So after that, after you take massive risk, you got your work done already. You got experience already. You are in the business already. You got credibility already. You could go and shooting a video with a client to say good thing about you. You're having all of these things already, right? It ties to risk reductions. So how to 3x the trade flow, how to having now you're having $5,000 after all this work. Maybe you're able to make a sales, but you're not gonna make any profit because the cost of you commute to the buyer, the cost of you commute and taking this video, your time, money, effort is way more than that already. So maybe you're able to lock that deal, and the value of the deal is around $4,000. Usually, you make 10% in that amount of money. You make $400 for total of cost that you're making now. So you make like 10%, $400. Might be in some country enough to pay for your gas and your food, but not much. So you need to having leverage in order to triple the trade flow. All right. And in order for you to at least making that profit, you need to go to see a large supplier at the beginning in order to build yourself a idea of where could you get the best price for this trade flow before you come into selling and being an idiot. All right. Did I make the sales when I didn't know anything about the product before? Yes, I did. It's not by luck. I know how to do it because I have experience in the game already. So it's not some big deal for me to do so. But you are totally fresh. All right. Don't try to do something that so hard to you. Try to become a person that knowing something before doing that is gonna build you a lot of confidence to work with the buyer. So how to trade act trade flow that you have. So after you deliver one container, two container, three containers to the buyer already, and they like the quality, they like the quantity, and you start to offer to turn this to a back-to-back deal. You say that, hey, Mr. Buyer, you know, we do in been doing business for the last two containers. You like the product, you like the quantity, you like the quality, you like the price. How about we do it a little bit more bigger? Let's say that I provide you with three containers, but the thing is, I will need you to transfer me the 30% first so that I could deliver to you uh, after we having the copy of the build landing so that You could verify the product already on the sea, already ship it. We have picture of everything about product from beginning to the end, so that you could rest assured about what in the container. So we after before production you send me 30%, and then after you got a copy of bill landing, you give me another 70%. It's add up to a total 100%. And right now, when they transfer you the 30% uh, money, all right, you could using that amount of money to do the down payment, all right, to do the down payment to the uh, importer, to the exporter of that product to your country. So you're gonna act as an import. It doesn't matter. It's maybe more way to do it, but let's say that's the scenario. You're importer and you try to trade the whole container. All right. So you could using that money to send it to the supplier, and then asking for another 70% from your client to send it to the supplier when after it, you have the copy of the bill landing, and then you deliver the product to them. You're doing totally the same thing, but you turn to back deal after you have credibility with the buyer, so that the whole trade process of how you could increase. So right now, maybe you could do even bigger than 3 times. You could do 5 times bigger, 10 times bigger, based on the capacity of your, all right, based on your ability to hunting for cheaper product in the market, to do your legwork, so that you could have a profit margin. And after that, you're good. Right now, you're in business. You could using all of these video picture, the video testimonial of your clients, to send blast out to thousands of suppliers and make your business bigger. All right. So I hope it makes sense. So big thank to you guys. Thank you for listening for the whole video. I know it's a long video than normal, longer video than normal, but this is actually how you can get a trade flow rolling. You could get into the business and get into a bigger trade flow if you have no money in your pocket at all. All right. Have a great day. Bye. And I hope that you guys, if you want to do business for long terms, for next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, then you should contact us, because we are here to do so. All right. Thank you.